Let's talk movies today, guys. What's the first movie you ever went to go see? Comment below, please. For me, it could have been one of two. I honestly can't tell. I can't remember which one it was. I could look up the dates at some point and then get back to you and let you know exactly which one it was. But my earliest memories of theater movie was either Cool Running or Hook. I mean, I'm sure if I looked up the release dates, because I didn't watch them both on their release, that's the thing. But I just got to look and see when they were in theaters, because it could have been one of the two. I didn't go to a lot of movies growing up, so going to each one was kind of a special thing to me. And I remember a lot of the movies that I went to go see. That's the thing. I have a weird memory for movies, TV, and music. My wife and I just restarted watching Teen Wolf. We had watched it before, and I highly recommend watching it. But we just stopped, and I for whatever reason it was. I don't remember why, but we just stopped watching. I think we just started watching something different and got sidetracked. You know, it happens a lot. But it's been almost a solid year since we've even watched any of it. And we found it, started watching it again, and I could tell you every story arc that was happening. And we didn't go back and rewatch things. We just started where we left it off. And she looks at me and goes, "How do you remember that?" I said, "I have no idea." Because half the time, I'll be honest, I can barely remember my own kids' birthdays and ages. I've only got 4. Yet, I could tell you everything that's going on in most of those shows. For a long time on my DVR, I had every DC CW show. Okay, so that was 4 of them there. I had Doctor Who and Game of Thrones all DVR'd at the same time, and I was consistently watching each one, and I could tell you everything that was going on in each one. I don't know how I can remember these things like this, but like I said, I can barely remember my kids' birthdays. You know? Yeah, back to the movie thing. See, growing up, we didn't go to the movies a lot. I mean, they're expensive. Even then, they weren't cheap. So, and I'm the youngest of 4. So we went when we could. I went to see Cool Running with a friend and his family, and I saw Hook with mine. We went to the drive-ins a lot. I don't know if you remember the drive-ins. They're still around. We've got one out here. You know, it still shows movies from time to time. Almost bought it, actually. It would have been awesome, but it needed a lot of work. We used to go a lot, and nowadays you get 2 or 3 different screens that play 2 movies. But back then, the one we used to go to, it was a triple feature nights half the time. They'd show 3 different movies, one for young kids, one for, you know, the family, and one for the adults once the family's gone to bed or gone to sleep. Because most of the time, you take your kids pass out after the first movie. Most of the time. One of my earliest memories there, I remember we went, and I think the triple was Beauty and the Beast, the original Disney one, Angels in the Outfield, and then The Crow. I was young, guys. I maybe first grade, and I remember watching it, and I watched Beauty and the Beast all the way through. I think I fell asleep halfway through Angels in the Outfield, but I woke up before the end of that movie. My parents didn't realize. And I watched The Crow all the way through. And I gotta say, as a child, it was awesome. Now, I probably shouldn't have watched it because it dealt with much higher content than what, a 6-year-old should have been dealing with. But I loved it. I went to, another movie that I remember going to, Mighty Ducks 3. I went to see in theaters. Remember the Titans. The first rated R movie that I can remember going to see, other than The Crow, because that was by accident. But it was like my mom made a big thing of it. Now, I had not saying that this was the first rated R movie I had seen, but it was the first one that I went to go to the theaters for, intentionally to see this movie, not hopping in or anything. Not that I ever did that, but my mom made a big deal of it because she wanted it to be a big thing. She knew that I was really interested in it and wanted to make it a thing. Was The Matrix. Looking back on it, I kind of see it as it's an okay movie. It did a lot of new things for itself, but all in all, I can't say it's one of my favorite movies. But the experience was awesome. Going to see it with my mom. That was great. The first rated R movie I can remember seeing, though, was Salem's Lot and Child's Play, Pumpkinhead. I watched a lot of horror movies growing up that I really wasn't supposed to. But I think that's part of what made me who I am. I watched a lot of, kid adventure shows, Power Rangers and all those. Yeah. I watched a lot of stuff growing up. But yeah, I had a great time. Alright, so I've been rambling a while for a bit now, guys. Why don't I leave you with this question? And please, post it below. Send me a message. If you have any ideas for things I could talk about. But for now, I want to leave you with that. So your question for today is, what was the first movie that you can remember going to see in theaters? And how was the experience? I love movies, guys. I love movies. I love TV. The entertainment process is amazing. Alright, so let me know. You guys have a wonderful day.